Okay. And again, okay. Hi, this is Chris Saxman, Virginia Free, talking about the Mountain Valley Pipeline. Natural gas and oil is a critical part of our economy. Gas prices at historic lows. Thankfully, we're able to, with the economy, able to deliver low gas prices to all of our consumers, most notably those at the lower end of the economic scale. Low gas prices help them the most. Two controversial projects have been discussed here in the Commonwealth and proposed, and they are well on their way, hopefully, of being implemented, and construction will begin soon. One we discussed already is the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, and now we have with us today John DeRazio of Roanoke Gas talking about the Mountain Valley Pipeline. Welcome, John. How are you doing today?
Hey, Chris, I'm doing great, and thank you for inviting me to this webinar.
Well, it's important, John, to cut through the clutter, to go around most, I guess, normal means of communication and go right to the people. And social media, as we have seen in recent political events, has given us that opportunity. But it's also a great opportunity to get real messages out there that you can't just put into sound bites and op-eds and letters to the editors, but stuff that people can really use and communicate and go, I haven't thought about that. I didn't realize all that this is and all that it's not. And with the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, we did some myth busting. One was that it can't be used for export because the pipe is just too small by the time it gets down to Virginia Beach at any portal, any terminal that would go out. So let's talk about the Mountain Valley Pipeline and how important it is for the economy of Roanoke in that region.
All right. Well, the Mountain Valley Pipeline is extremely important for us here in the Roanoke Valley. We have seen since about 2000, our customer growth has increased over 15%. And here lately, over the last couple of years and going forward, we have seen a tremendous amount of growth associated with our industrial commercial customers, both existing customers expanding as well as new industrial commercial customers coming into our area. As a result of that, our demand has increased substantially. But the biggest problem we're having is the existing pipelines that are feeding our system are at full capacity. So there is no additional firm capacity there. So in order to meet our demand going forward, we need new infrastructure like the Mountain Valley Pipeline to provide us that supply of natural gas to meet the potential growth that we see right now, as well as future growth in our area.
And what's fueling a lot of the growth around the country, and I can't imagine where our economy would be without hydraulic fractured gas coming from the Marcellus region in West Virginia and Pennsylvania and Ohio. Our gas prices are at historic lows, or gas prices across the street right now, I think, are at $2 a gallon. But we're talking about natural gas, which fuels homes and businesses and also powers a lot of businesses. Your customers, what's driving the demand overall, though, for this natural gas? Where are you seeing it?
Well, we're seeing the demand in basically all areas. When you think about it, a decade ago, natural gas, they were predicting a supply shortage. And so natural gas prices were about $13 a decatherm. Through advancements in technology with hydraulic fracking and horizontal drilling, they were able to access these large shale formations and these large reserves. As they brought supply on, natural gas prices declined significantly. Today, they're in that $3 range, etc. Prices have remained stable, and they're forecasted to be stable for the near future. So what we've seen on consumers is that it's resulted in much lower energy bills for them, which provides them with much more disposable income to spend in the economy. To commercial, residential, well, not residential, but commercial and industrial customers, what we've seen is it has significantly reduced their energy costs, which has made them much more competitive in the global marketplace. And it's also become an important factor for them when they're deciding either to expand their business or relocate their business to a new area, is having access to adequate supply of natural gas. And then third, from an environmental standpoint, the low prices as well as the environmental benefits that natural gas brings compared to coal has made it an ideal fuel and actually the fuel of choice for power generation. So we've seen a large increase of power generation utilizing natural gas in our country.
And that power generation doesn't necessarily occur for utilities, but also manufacturers who create energy on site and use it in their processes. And that's one of the big drivers of our ability in America to be economically competitive on a global scale, as you mentioned. And with a labor force like you have in the Roanoke region, that gives that region an opportunity to attract business and retain it in this global environment, which changes so rapidly, as we know. But that reliable source of economic fuel is absolutely critical. But let's talk about how big this pipeline actually is. I mean, when you think pipelines, everyone goes, "Oh my God, it's this big, round, massive thing," but it's only like 42 inches tall, right?
Correct. It's a 42-inch pipeline. It's going to be an underground pipeline.
Three
It's
and a half feet. 3.5 feet.
3.5 feet. It's going to be buried about 3.5 feet, 4 feet underground. It's going to start up in northern West Virginia, travel about 300 miles, come through southwest Virginia, and actually terminate there in the Transco corridor of pipelines there in Chatham, Virginia, and Pennsylvania County. It'll transport approximately about 2 BCF of natural gas per day.
Well, let's
And
not get
all,
too technical, John. John, let's not get too technical
I
because
thought
people are
about
going to go,
that.
"What the heck? What is BCF?" That's a
Yeah,
lot of gas, right?
yeah, a lot of gas, billion cubic feet per
That's a lot
day.
of gas.
And the pipeline is fully subscribed under long-term transportation contract, which kind of demonstrates the real need for that gas, not only in the Roanoke region, but also in the East Coast.
Well, that's one of the myths we'd like to bust here is that some of the opponents of these pipelines have said there's no need. Well, if there wasn't any need, why would companies invest billions of dollars, and why would most of the gas already be purchased in long-term agreements if it wasn't a need to have that gas? How important is that to the Roanoke Valley region specifically? What have you seen?
Well, you know, we've had a lot of recent economic development, I'll call successes here in the Roanoke Valley. And one of the major components that all these industries have inquired about is having access to natural gas. So here recently, we've had a couple breweries, Ballast Point, Deschutes. We've had Eldor, which is a large Italian car parts manufacturer, come to this area. We've had some of our existing customers. One of our largest customers, which is a steel manufacturer, announced a major expansion, which is going to increase their gas load. We've had a brick plant here that has 3 kilns. One was on natural gas, 2 was on coal. Just announced that they're going to convert all theirs to natural gas for the environmental aspect as well as the low cost. So really, having that supply has really prompted not only new industry coming to our area, but also existing industry expand their business here.
And how about converting? Any folks converting over to natural gas during this time?
Yeah. There's been several. Just to name probably 3 of them. Virginia Tech, which is a large university, has converted their power generation over from coal to natural gas.
So Virginia Tech generates its own power on site.
On site, yes.
That's amazing. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and then Celanese, which was burning 100%, well, I'd say about 90% coal, was able to work with Columbia Gas to get a gas line down to their facility and have switched 100% to natural gas. And then the last one was an industry down in Carroll County called Mohawk. They were actually burning fuel oil at the time, and their energy expense was extremely high compared to their other facilities where they had natural gas. So they were planning on leaving the state.
Wow.
Carroll County was able to work with a local utility there to get natural gas to this facility, which saved basically about 150 jobs in that community. And they expanded natural gas down in that Hillsville community, which attracted much more businesses to that area. And all these are major employers in Southwest Virginia.
Well, not just major employers, but Virginia Tech is a major tax user. Not that it's a bad thing, obviously, higher education. So we're talking about saving taxpayers around the Commonwealth and families who attend Virginia Tech or how to save money on their tuition. Hopefully, it brings down costs or at least makes it a manageable cost. So we don't really see the impact in total. When you talk about the Celanese plant, which I've been to, it's out there, but it's a major employer in that part of the state, and that economic success is critical. And having those energy prices affordable, reliable, is so important in a global economy. How about other folks other companies want to come in? How is Roanoke Gas going to be able to tap going off into different directions to furnish gas to some of these
All right.
companies,
Well, we
folks.
plan to have two taps off the Mountain Valley pipeline. One tap will occur in Montgomery County, close to the Roanoke County line, and that tap will feed directly into our system to provide us with that extra supply, as well as provide us a third source of gas to our system, which will really improve the reliability of our system. The second tap will occur there in Franklin County, and that tap will occur in one of their new business parks that they're developing north of Rocky Mount.
Hmm.
Currently, Franklin County does not have access to natural gas. So
At
this
all.
tap will, not at all. So this tap will
What
provide
what do they
them.
what do they fuel their economy with? Their buildings, their homes, the
Um,
propane.
Mainly propane, fuel oil, and electric. And then,
Wow.
and the
Wow.
problem when you talk to some of the county officials, they have acknowledged that they have missed opportunities, businesses and industry coming to that area because they did not have accessibility to natural gas. So we hope this tap will be a game changer. We'll be able to attract large industries, which will help promote growth and job opportunities there in Franklin County.
Well, you're also going to be paying a bit of taxes to these local governments for their right to do this, are you not? I mean, talk about the tax benefit, the revenue to the local governments down there, and actually how it helps the taxpayers.
Well, there is going to be a pretty good increase in tax revenues to these counties. The Mountain Valley Pipeline, will be constructed through 6 counties in Virginia. Those are Giles, Montgomery, Roanoke, Franklin, Pittsylvania. I believe that's all of them. And on a combined basis, the pipeline will contribute about $7 million in additional tax revenues to these localities, which will help them be able to
One
fund
time? Is that
additional.
a one time or is that every
It's
year?
annual. That's annual.
Wow.
It's equivalent to having property taxes. That
Wow.
they'll basically get that equivalent of $7 million every year that the pipeline's there.
That's a pretty good chunk of change for some of those local governments down there. Don't have any other access to economic development.
Right. And then once the pipeline goes under construction, there's going to be a significant increase in revenues and through a couple things. One, there'll be some local job growth there associated with
Right.
the pipeline into construction. And then there'll be a tremendous amount spent on services with local businesses in those communities that it's going through and also the surrounding communities. So they'll see a short-term economic, I'll call it a boom in revenues associated with this project.
Well, long term though, also, John, you have to figure that it's also going to raise property values in that area, which allows local governments to come in and possibly lower tax rates for folks, or provide better services, pay teachers more, and their local services. So it gives them, one of the things I've often heard in the politics and policy of the Commonwealth is giving local governments more tools in the toolbox to provide for their citizens. And I think this certainly does that. How long is this project going to take, and when do you expect to start?
Well, we are anticipating starting construction here. Well, let's back up and talk about where it is in the FERC process. Um, Mountain Valley applied with FERC back in, I believe it was October of 2015. FERC issued a draft environmental impact statement here this September 2016. The final EIS is coming out in a couple weeks, and we're hoping soon thereafter they'll give us the notice to proceed for construction. So construction tentatively is planned for the end of this year. It'll take approximately about a year, and the objective is to have it in service at the end of 2018.
Okay, end of 2018. A lot of activity until then. Good boost to the economy. Um, we've seen obviously attacks on the pipeline projects. We want to keep the fossil fuels in the ground, but cleaner emissions come with natural gas. As we grow our economy, carbon emissions are flat to down in a
Mm-hmm.
growing economy over the last 20 years because of natural gas and because of the boom in hydraulic fracturing, lowering cost, have people able to reinvest in their homes and further insulate their homes and their businesses, converting over to more energy efficient um, practices. And that's a good thing for the economy as we use our energy resources even more efficiently. What have you experienced from folks down there who love the outdoors, who want to be able to go on land and hunt and fish and these kinds of things. How was your relationship with those folks? And does this opportunity create something that can be done to facilitate even more use of the outdoors? I saw an article that one of the things that one of the environmental groups is upset about was the loss of milkweed as an attractant for monarch butterflies. I mean, it gives you an opportunity to do a lot of different things, I would think, in the outdoor space.
Yeah, and that's correct, Chris. You know, Mountain Valley has been working for years with state, local, and federal officials, as well as environmental groups and local organizations, to try to develop a plan that'll protect the environment. You know, they're really interested in making sure that there are no adverse effects to the Appalachian Trail, the natural forest, and the river and streams that they're crossing. So I believe, that the Mountain Valley has taken all the appropriate measures to ensure that our outdoor area, which is kind of key, it's one of the reasons I love living here, is going to be protected. The other thing is that, Mountain Valley has taken some additional steps. The proposed right-of-way was originally 75 feet. They have narrowed that permanent right-of-way down to 50 feet to help minimize
Wow.
minimize the impact to the environment. And it's, when the pipeline goes in service, it'll be monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days. There'll be inspections occurring both during construction as well as after. There's inspections continuously on the pipeline. And when it's all said and done, it will be underground. And really the only thing that people will notice is the markers that are in the right of way to let people know that there is an underground pipeline here. And I think it'll blend in with, there's a couple 100,000 miles of natural gas pipelines, not only in Virginia, but across the U.S. And really, people really don't notice them except for the pipeline markers that are there. So it'll blend in nice I think, with the area.
And what can you do you're talking about, a cut through, obviously, where the pipes would go. And is there an opportunity to do different things relative to planting in this space to, accentuate some of the flora and fauna of the region?
There is. It'll make a nice greenway there. It allows us to do multiple things to this area, to plant, vegetation that is appropriate, and also some that may not be here that would be attractive to the environmentalists. So.
Okay, that's important to know. That one of the things I've learned throughout this entire process, John, and not just this pipeline, but the other one to the north, is that the businesses who are putting this together, it's not just one business. You have several partners in this who are part of the overall project, but they seem very willing and able to make it work for everyone, to be accommodating as possible, but also deliver great products to your customers. And is that, as a businessman today, is that becoming more difficult, or just what we do in the business world?
I'm not going to say it's becoming more difficult. I think we have to realize that, that the way things were done in the past have changed, and we have to be much more accommodating to those individuals or groups to ensure that what we're doing is appropriate in today's environment.
So. That's good to hear, and wish you the very best in this project. Hopefully by the end. When do you expect to hear again?
The final EIS will be issued the end of this month, and we hope to hear it. So the end of June, and then we hope to receive an order shortly thereafter to proceed with construction. So
when would that take place in short order? What does that mean? Another month or so?
Probably within 60 to 90 days after the final EIS is issued. So.
Wow. Well, that's exciting for that region, and for the ratepayers down there, and for the businesses that want to expand and want to convert over to cleaner burning natural gas. Great project, 42-inch pipeline, the Mountain Valley Pipeline. John DeRazzo, thanks you so much for joining us on Virginia Free. We welcome your participation in the political process to better inform our elected officials, and I think this goes a long way to dispelling some of the myths, if you will, about natural gas and these pipelines. Anything else you want to add at this time?
Chris, I want to thank you for inviting me to this, and we are very excited about the Mountain Valley Pipeline. It's much needed infrastructure. We need the supply in this area to meet our growing demand, and we're just excited that it's coming through our area. So
Well, it
thank
is an
you.
exciting project for the infrastructure. You've got a great workforce. You've got higher education up and down the 81 corridor with the new economy, the innovation economy that's coming along to have natural gas there to support the new manufacturing, converting the old manufacturing facilities to cleaner burning emissions. It's exciting for the region, and I hope people are more willing to take a longer look at this, the long-term benefits to everyone in the state, in the country, not just the Roanoke region, about how critical these pipelines are for our national economy success. So I want to tip the hat, give you a salute for for putting up with what it takes to get some stuff done in the country these days when it comes to infrastructure.
Well, thank you, and we appreciate that.
Well, thank you, John. You have a great day and good luck down in Roanoke.
All right, thank you.
See you.